that a good time, or was that more of a by yourself kind of deal, or was it interesting? Because I've noticed right now in a lot of families that it goes through changes. So you have like your big families that get together, and I've always said this. I think I've said this on the show before, that you have certain people that are keystone. You know, once that person leaves the family, passes away, or something happens, then things aren't not necessarily the same until the next generation picks it back up, and then it kind of rekindles that plan. And that's something that I've been seeing, at least in my own family. I'm not sure about you, but dynamics are a little bit different. You know, if you have like a grandmother that normally hosted something and then they die, then it's just never really the same, especially when you're younger too, that I've noticed that.
So, yeah, I had a good Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And everybody, welcome to the Watchmen experience. We're here in the building coming at you. So Thanksgiving to me was good.
Mm-hmm.
I always ask people, what do you give a man that has everything? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for somebody like me, most people would look at my life and say I have everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
A house, 2 cars, 2 dogs, a wife, kid, all these things. Right?
Yeah.
But what people can really give me is family.
Yeah.
Like coming together this past Thanksgiving. We didn't do it last year, but we went up to the cabin and we had a big shindig up there at the cabin this past Thanksgiving.
That's awesome.
It's like 30 people.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that awesome. Was what warms my heart.
Yeah.
That is what gives me joy, is being around family, is being around the people that I love and people that I care about, because I guess that comes from being kingdom minded, is that as kingdom minded, we want to be around our families. We want to be around the people that we love.
Well, we're also very social creatures as well.
Yes.
Which that'll lead me into a few other topics there. But
so what do you give a man who has everything? Just give me family. Give me family reunions, because I love those. Mm-hmm. Because it's something about, as you said, the dynamic coming together now is different because we don't have grandma.
Yeah.
But so we're making an effort to still come together as a family, which is completely awesome. That's what I love about it. I don't really care about the food. I'm missing all my teeth, most of them. So food becomes annoying to me.
That's something that not to cut you off, but that's something that I've noticed, at least in my family, is that we do have a lot of relatives that are spread out across the nation, as far as up north and out west. So having that big gathering, it doesn't really happen to that extent like it used to.
Yeah.
Because I think people were a lot more, whether it's financially able to or whatever, willing to make the travel efforts down. Which we don't really see that. We just see pretty much the people that are, relatives, but they're in the relative area as far as close.
So we was at the church building today, right?
Yeah.
And it was crazy because there were people there that was from San Diego, California,
wow,
New York, visiting family.
Wow.
Right? Wow. That's amazing.
People make the effort, and
it's about making the effort.
Yeah.
It's literally about
it's priorities on the list.
Right. And most people don't care about family no more.
Yeah.
It's all about me. It's something that I was talking about today. Was talking about reconciliation. We don't have any reconciliation in this country. Do you know what reconciliation is?
No.
It's making things right. It's like looking at your checkbook and making sure all the numbers matching up.
Yeah.
So God reconciled us back to Him through His Son Jesus Christ, right? But we learned that as a society, we don't know what that means.
I'm assuming it's almost now. Okay. When you were describing it, my mind was going to accountability.
It's not.
Different.
It's different. It's when. So I give it to you like this. Paul wrote a letter to the Corinthians, right? And he wrote it to them, and it kind of hurt them, right? He caught wind that it hurt them, that it was detrimental to the church that was in Corinth, and they were going to split apart, right? Whether Paul was right or wrong in his writings, because he tells them that, hey, look, I wrote this letter to you to rebuke you, but I did it out of love. This is the key part. He says, but no matter what, I never intended to hurt you or cause you pain. I love you and did it in love. So just hold off before you do anything and let me get there. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, whether he was right and wrong, he cared enough about the relationship to say, look, yo, I'm sorry. I love you. Let's make this work. In a way. Reconciliation is making it work. Is coming together with two people with two differences and making it work. We don't have reconciliation here.
No.
There is no reconciliation. Reconciliation is not repentance. It's not salvation. It's not sanctification. It is making things right. God reconciled us back to him through his son, Jesus Christ. Like, that's why we say he reconciled it. He made it right. Like, Jesus made it right for us. He paid a price. You see what I'm saying? Like, he paid a price that we could not pay so we could have salvation. So we could become right and standing with God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in this nation, we don't have that, whether you're a believer or an unbeliever.
Yeah.
Because it's all about me.
Yeah.
And if it's all about me, then it can never be about you. But as a believer in Christ, reconciliation means I put myself to a side and put you before me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And here's the reason why. Because if I don't, then I never know what I could have or would have fed into you that you could have fed somebody else, that you could have done great things in Christ. See, especially as believers, we do not experience church hurt the way we should. Like, if you experience church hurt, that's fine. But there should be a pastor that comes to you and says, hey, come here, let me talk to me. What happened? Let's reconcile this. Let's see if we can make this right. Whether you stay at this church or not, that's not neither here nor there. But let's cause this hurt to go away. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, most people just give up on that, and they'll just say, well, screw this place. I'm going to go down the street to this other church because, like we've seen with some people that are very close to us.
Right.
They get burned or they take something the wrong way, and then they leave. We've had many people, and for all those that have stuck with us for many years, you have seen many of faces that have come through beyond the show that you've seen their faces through these video cameras, and where are they? Not here.
Not here.
They get pissed off, offended, whatever, and they walk another direction. So and so a lot of people, they do just give up on it, and
instead of making it right, and what making it right is not necessarily saying that I'm wrong or you're right. Making it right means that we have an understanding that we may have differences, but it doesn't matter. Daggone it, I forgot this point. There was a point in the Bible where Peter and Paul, they had a difference, right? And they didn't like each other. Paul went one way, or it's Paul and Barnabas, I think, Anyways, so they split different ways. And I think it was over circumcision, where one should be circumcised, the other one didn't. So it caused a big feud, right? Here was the key to all of that. No matter how big the feud was, when Paul went to, I want to say to the church of Colossae, I want to say it's Colossians, but he went there and he was telling them in his end of his letter, look, I know you guys have been talking about Peter. Y'all been talking about him the wrong way. No matter our differences, receive him as you receive me in Christ. So Paul said, no matter what our differences is, he's still a man of God. You still should receive him. Quit talking junk out your mouth. He's still loved by us. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't have that.
No. Yeah.
There is none of that in this world. It's all about, I'm so glad I didn't say this in church building today, but I've been to church buildings around here in Roanoke, and they will always preach, well, it's about you, and if somebody don't like you, then you leave them alone and you walk away because it's about you and Jesus is about you. And those preachers and pastors are teaching the wrong message because it's a message about you. The Bible is not about Tommy or DJ.
Yeah.
It is not. The Bible is about God and his work through all of the things that he did to reconcile us back to him. That's what it's about. It's about how to have a good living. There's so much about it that we lose in translation because we have pastors and preachers that get up on these TVs and they want to preach these analogies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They want to say, well, so you understand what I'm saying. And for people out there that may not understand it, it's like an analogy. It's like when sometimes you hear me talk about how, a transmission and a car coming together to be one could represent how a flock could come together to become one and to be a working part.
Yeah.
That's very dumbed down and very simplified. But what these pastors do is they actually give these analogies to make you feel like you understand the word, but in reality, they're making you more dumb because they're making themselves look smarter.
Yeah.
And you don't need to use analogies. Now, if we're talking, I'll use analogy all day long.
Yeah.
But if I'm coming from the word, I don't need to use the world to make it look dumb so you can understand it.
Yeah.
We've been through that.
Oh, yeah.
I showed you. I said, hey, look at the word. It says this. It's about all it says. We get so about us that we have all the information, that we have all the knowledge, that our way is just the best and right way, and so this is how you're supposed to do it. But that's not it. It's the way of the word. That's what we should be doing. As a pastor, my job is to only make you think.
Yeah.
I will never have the answer for you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will show you how we can get to the answer through the word, but I'm not going to sit here and say I have the answer, because I don't.
Yeah.
And as pastors, we have got away from that because we use analogies to make people feel dumb. They don't know that they're feeling dumb. They don't realize it because it feels good. It sounds so great because you can relate how, hey, look, if you are looking for a way to know about Jesus Christ, look, get on your Super Nintendo 64 and pull up Mario and play Mario Kart. You know how when you play Mario Kart, you get on there and you want to just run as fast as you can and you're just trying to win your race and you just want to win. Well, I'll tell you what, Paul said in the Bible that when we run our race, we run it to...
Yeah. I get where you're coming from, yeah.
None of that made any
stupid.
sense.
Yeah.
None of that made any sense. I didn't tie any of it
do
together.
to try and, I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
They'll have a great title and they'll say, the next 3 weeks is this series on learning to run.
Yeah.
What? No, why do you do that? There's no reason to.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is my job. At this church building that we've been preaching at, there was this lady, she come up to me last Friday when we was getting prepared for this meal that we were having, right? Mm-hmm. She come up to me, she said, look, Pastor DJ, I want to be able to come to you and talk to you about something. I said, okay, sure, what's up? She says, look, a couple weeks ago you was preaching about love, and I didn't agree with what you were saying. She said, but when I went home, I looked it up, I prayed about it, I went to God to open my heart, to show where I could be. He told me to come back and talk to you about it. And so we did. We had a conversation. That's beautiful. And that's the way that should go down. Whatever I said to her made her think about something in her own life.
Yeah.
But the man of God that she sees in me felt comfortable enough to say, hey, look, what you said I ain't really agree with. I didn't get offended.
No, and that's a leadership thing. That's a leadership thing, to be approachable.
Yeah.
I've seen it all across the Marine Corps. It's like you have some leaders that are very good, or some leaders, when you go to them, they want to snap your head off. So, and that's not the right way to be, especially if you're in a position that you are a leader and you are supposed to be doing those things. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure.
You
to
have
really,
no idea.
And you have to have patience in various forms to be able to handle that. Because if you're not okay, so this will lead me into my whole spiel here. So whether I talked about this a couple weeks back, I'm not really sure. It was a couple of weeks ago. So over the course of time, we have and this is going to be a long, drawn-out story, so I'll try to keep it short as possible. But so a couple of weeks back, it was me, my buddy Drew, and Dean, and what we do is essentially we will go and on Sunday evenings when the football game's on, we'll assemble, hang out, talk, watch the game, and it's a good time, generally speaking. And then we'll go and gather up on Thursdays as well. So Thursday evenings after work. So that is, it's a lot of fun. But there's one time we were like, well, why don't we let's go to like, the Tap House, which is real close to us, right? Why don't we go there and watch the game? And of course, the week we chose, it was one of the worst football games. I forget which team was playing at the time, but so essentially we're there, we're sitting at the bar area. Dean finally shows up, so we're just sitting there. We order our food. But the whole time that I was there, I was noticing I was more situational aware, and so was Drew. But we were watching, essentially, there was this one homeboy that was just staring at us, just like looking at us. It was real weird, and it was getting on our nerves. And then eventually, homeboy comes over, and he's already drunk. And he comes up behind me, and then, we're ready. Me and Drew are both like, all right, looks like we're about to get into a fight. Here we go. And comes up behind me. He goes, "Hey, did you graduate from this school this time?" And whether it was the psychology behind body language that tipped me off or whatnot, but I just turned around and I'm like, I don't know who the you are, and just turned back around. And so then he eventually just walked away. But I'm like, we were ready to fight at that point.
You was ready to throw down like Donkey Kong.
Oh, and half of me wished that it happened just because of that. I know that sounds terrible, but half of me is like, oh, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. But at the same time, then I just eventually it was halfway through the game. It was getting late, and I was like, I'm out. I'm rolling. So I leave. Anyway, so in that moment, homeboy's drunk, but he comes over. And there's one instant. And so now I'm going to bring this forward to a story that Dean gave me yesterday. So last night I went up to Dean's and he was telling me this story that I think it was the day of Thanksgiving. He was driving to go take the recycle to the local place where you got to put all the recycle, right? And he's driving down the road and he notices there's this dude, younger looking. He just looked like he'd been through a lot, and he's just walking down the road, and he puts his needing a ride. So Dean gets a little further and he's like, shit. So he does a U-turn and he pulls over and he asks the guy, he goes, what do you need? He goes, well, I got to get to the Dodge station down there. So his girlfriend supposedly dumped him and essentially gave the guy a ride to Dodges. He was very grateful. And he's just like, if I get shot, I get shot. It is what it is. I'll help this dude out.
Right.
So he gets down to the gas station, and the guy is actually from North Carolina. And he's like, well, I guess I'm going to go to North Carolina and go see my people. So instead of be here. And so that was an instance where things are a little bit changed, where he did something that was positive and good. Yeah, was it risky? It could have been. But he said, screw that. I'm going to do the right thing or help somebody out. Whether it was the right thing to do or not, he's going to help somebody out. So what I'm getting at is something that I've struggled with, and I think a lot of other people would have, and it's some of the same reasons why I don't join you in certain, pretty much at all. It's only here at the Watchmen, and everything else I'm not there for, and that's just being direct honest. And you know that. So it's because of these situations at like the Tap House. Somebody comes up and I'm already in fight mode for whatever reason. And so this is the stuff that I've struggled with for a while now. Is when you it's not that I've gone through, and you will know because you've gone through a lot throughout your lifetime, so you'll be able to have some wisdom on this. Not that I have gone through a lot of really bad circumstances or situations or social moments to where it has put me in a position of just being directly negative, but there have been moments throughout life that, maybe this happened or that happened and it wasn't so good and this wasn't so great, and it just kind of resets your mind to the point, not that you're being a bitch or anything like that, but it resets your mind to then just being very, I don't want to say rude, but to the point where it's like, get out of my way. Like, I remember yesterday I went out and I was running to Pick and Save to go see if they had any truck parts there. Lo and behold, they didn't. And I stopped at Sheets. Well, I'm walking into Sheets, and there's like a family and this woman that was like in the pathway that I gotta walk, and I'm like, I was hoping in my mind as I'm walking through the door she would hear it and then move, but she doesn't. So then I'm just like, excuse me, and she, oh, I'm sorry, and Like, you're good, but I didn't make any eye contact. I was just like, pretty much the body language is get the hell out of my way, shut the hell up, don't talk to me, moving on. And so throughout time and these experiences, it's very, very hard for me to break this, like, I don't want to say negativity, but this just assholery that's within me. This, like, back in the day, I don't think I was like this as much, but for some reason, as time has gone, and I notice this with even the world, and how just people are self-centered, rude, whatever, that it's very hard, or just going up and talking to somebody is almost a threat to them, just like I showed at the bar over there. Not really bar, but at the bar, at the tap house, when we were sitting there. So obviously the guy's drunk. It could have been like, there could have been a moment that he was not even threatening. It's just, why did we automatically assume that it was threatening or ready to get into a fight, whatever, instead of thinking, oh, hey, how you doing? You know, if he was getting too quick, hey, I'm gonna have you take a step back. What's your question, man? And be more positive, more delightful, I guess. It's so hard, and that's something that I struggle with, and I notice a lot more people nowadays have that problem. Like, if we just walked up to any old person in the store, they almost seem offended or very scared. It doesn't matter who it is. It's just this, whether everyone's becoming islands, whatever. But it's so hard for me to not, to if you want to call it, be myself like I am with my close friends, just out and about. I know people that have that gift where they're a ball of sunshine, and they're amazing people. Can that get annoying? Absolutely. However, being somebody that is, you get what I'm saying? And somebody that, like yourself, that has been through a lot of shit, should have some sort of know of what I'm talking about, and it would probably benefit a lot of our listeners out there, because I just see that and notice that getting very, very worse by the day. I mean, whether it's at the gym, grocery store, it doesn't matter, Walmart, car meet, it doesn't matter. You know, I notice those things, and then I notice, I'm like, and then when I get into situations like that and I snap, I'm like, damn it, I'm just adding to the problem by reacting in that way and not just being like, chill the hell out, man.
So, you know what's funny?
You talked about this, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Today. Just exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
So over the past 3 years, okay, first off, the one thing that I will tell you, there are not churches or church buildings or pastors or preachers that teach reconciliation. Mm-hmm. I just don't see it. Yeah. Okay. For one, it's a very hard topic to teach. Yeah. And any pastor that's ready, I mean, it's a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you got to get people to grasp it. Mm-hmm. But you got to use the Bible to grasp it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not just about, you know, me, like I said, me getting up there giving you an analogy for you to understand it.
Yeah.
That's not my job, you know. Just like I'm his shepherd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he doesn't even understand why I'm holding this right here, right? Yeah. He doesn't grasp it, but there's a reason for it, yeah. Okay? And I don't need to try to tell him any sunshines or feed him treats or anything else. He just has to deal with it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? I'm his shepherd. I know what's best for him, supposedly.
Yeah.
That's still left up to judgment. Anyways, so when we talked about reconciliation, it's funny that you said that, because after service, there was a guy from Maryland and a guy from California, and I was talking to them about stuff. And the guy from New York, his name is Ezra, and he was talking to me about New York and how there's a lot of crime and people leaving. Like what you see on the news is what's happening. Okay, 100%, right? So what I was telling him, and he was like, "Man, I just don't understand why there's so much crime, so much hate." And I said, "It's because there's no reconciliation." I said, for 3 years now, we have been told to be fearful, be scared, be in complete turmoil, be complete strung out, locked in your houses, but nobody's telling us why. Reconciliation comes with a why. So we're all sitting around here just kind of going through the motions, not understanding why we had to go through some of the things we had to go through, or if it's ever going to happen again, or if it's ever going to be worse than what it was. And so what happens is since there's no reconciliation, there's no way of saying this is why we done what we done, then we have people angry because they've been done dirty too. Think about this. I'm a believer in Christ. during the pandemic, I didn't get no money whatsoever from the government, right? Well, for some people, that just, Bobo, stop. You're making it worse on yourself.
No money from the government.
I got no money from the government.
Yeah.
It got all taken from me for child support, right? For some people, that makes you mad because you lost your job, you lost your house, because some people got all that money taken from them. And nobody has told them why. So they sit around and they wonder why. Do you not think that's going to make somebody angry?
Oh, yeah.
Do you not think that's going to make somebody bitter?
Absolutely.
Do you not think it makes somebody be very short-tempered, short-fused? You think it makes it going to some people be a butthole?
Yeah.
Of course, because there's no answers. It's just we're telling you what to do without no resolution whatsoever. That's why I love serving the Lord. So that's why I love serving the Lord, because there's always reconciliation. All we got to do is go to the Word.
Yeah.
For anything that's going on, we can just go to the Word.
And that may be the case for all of everything that's going on in New York, but when it comes to a person that has nothing to do with it, we're on the same level. We're all in the same dynamic as far as this person's not in power or can change anything as far as because they're not in that role. But just for like, and you see it a lot, like if we were out at the grocery store and somebody just walks up to you or whatever, they have, obviously you don't know them, so you don't really know what their connections are, but
that's what I'm talking about. You met a guy who's a stranger.
Yeah.
You have no idea what he's been going through. None.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, in the instance for me, yeah, they walk up, and I'm ready to kill. That's a problem.
We'll get to that.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
That is.
That is a big problem, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. First, we got to First we got to look at the other people. Serving Christ is always looking about the other people first.
Yeah.
It's always about the other person first. Always. Because at the end of the day, everything that we're going to do is probably going to be screwed up.
Yeah.
So we have to look at them first. So when I get into a situation, and I've gotten into a lot of situations with people from LGBTQ, all kinds of stuff, okay? I take the approach of, why are they coming at me so hard? No. Why are they being the way that they are? What is causing them that, right? Something. Will I be their friend right then and there? No. No, I will not. No, I'm not going to be their friend right now because I don't need to. Now, why do you react the way that you do? Because you're still going through something that you're dealing with. You may not even know what you're going through right now. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, there are things in your life that you've went through that cause you to be the person that you are.
Yeah.
Okay? And there are things that everybody goes through that causes people to be who they are. So you meet somebody at the tap house that's getting drunk, there's already a problem.
Yeah.
So they're going through something you have no idea what they could have lost their wife. They could have lost their kids in a car accident. They could have, you know what I'm saying? They could have been every other way than trying to be mean or hurtful. It may come off mean and hurtful because they have no other way of showing it but that way. That's it. That's all they have way. Because that's what people listen to.
Yeah.
That's what we've been shown to do. If I scream loud enough, if I beat my chest loud enough, somebody's going to hear me. If I riot in the streets, somebody's going to hear me. Mm-hmm. You yourself, and for anybody, even myself, let's stick it to me. The reason why I was a prick, the reason why when I owned a business at the beginning of my business, the reason why I was a dickhead and all these other things, because I had issues that I needed to rectify. I needed reconciliation myself. I needed to go search out what was wrong with me, because it's not always about the other person. Because if there's something wrong with me, then I've got to give it to God. And trust me, there's something wrong with all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of us. None of us have got it right. None of us has got it figured out. And so when you react a certain way, it's because you put yourself before that other person. You yourself at that point in time decided that you was going to take the power of the situation at all cost. That's real. It's just being real. You did not care about that other person's feelings.
No.
I'm in the same. I've done the same thing, and still do it to this day.
This is a learning experience for myself and everybody else, because I've talked to not only Drew and also Dean. They only came at it at the situational base, like what happened, how it played out, what their thoughts were, what Drew was seeing, what I was seeing, what Dean was seeing. Dean was clueless the whole time until it happened, but me and Drew were on the same page because we got, situational awareness, so we're just watching. So he felt the same way as I was feeling and was just like, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, if something were to happen, we're fine, like, okay, yep, this guy is gonna get having a beat down, but I don't know.
Andrew Tate, and I come back to this, Andrew Tate said that if he was in a bar and he walked out of the bathroom and all of his boys was in a fight, all he was ready to do was just fight all of them.
Yeah.
And then worry about the rest later. That's such the wrong approach to any of it. To de-escalate the situation is probably the best thing to do. That's sometimes for us just to shut our mouth and walk away.
Yeah. Which I did do during that whole situation, because when they came up behind me and we were watching, I was watching in the mirror, and then I felt this. Then I turned around, and when he asked the question, I just turned to him and said, I don't know who the fuck you are, and just turned back around as a sign of, get the hell away.
Right.
I don't want to talk to you. I don't give a damn who you are. Leave.
Right.
And so, yeah, whether it was a certain instant. Now, if I was there on my own and I didn't have anybody else there, I probably would have full frontaled. That way I see what's about to happen and be engaged with what's in front of me. But since I was there in the moment and also knowing who's around me, I'm just like, if you want to try, cool. But he'll grab you and I'll break my hand in your face. That's fine. It'd be great. If you want to take that, that's cool. But also,
so this is what I would ask Andrew Tate, and I would ask anybody in that conversation. Even myself, I've been in many anyways, we're not going to go there.
Yeah,
I've been in many fights, and there have been many instances that I felt so much guilt and remorse for what I'd done. Let me ask you a question. If you was in a situation, right?
Yeah.
And let's say something was to go down and you was in front of your boys and it's like, yeah, I'm going to take care of this. And you beat this dude down, right? Mm-hmm. And he had just lost his daughter 2 hours beforehand, before he walked into that place. How would that make you feel? Mm. That he went in there just to have some relief. And for whatever reason, something made him snap. He saw something on the TV that just made him think about his daughter. I'm just saying. It's completely made up. This is all fabricated.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is that we tend to not put the other person in front of ourselves. So then we become the high and mighty. So then you got to deal with me. We're not supposed to do that. Like I said, Andrew Tate says, I'm going to jump in with my boys. We're going to fight it and we'll work it out later. I would hate to know that I beat the heck out of somebody that lost their daughter 2 hours beforehand, and I've now put them in the hospital. Well, that guy may go out now he may go out and commit suicide. You see the ramifications that can happen if we just don't take the time to say, look, all right, let's rectify this situation. What's going on with you? Do I just need to walk away? We don't always have to show how big we are. We show how big we are by how much we keep ourselves constrained.
And I think I did a pretty good job with that, with more nonverbal.
The Bible said, blessed are the meek. Okay. Most people think meek is weak and they're not, strong or anything. Do you know meek actually is a descriptive word to hold your tongue or to tame a wild horse? So Jesus compared your tongue to a wild horse. And if you could constrain that, then you have many blessings ahead of you. But see, we don't do that because we have situations in our life that we need to rectify. We need to let go. We need to give it to God. We need to reconcile it. We need to make it right, whatever it is. Whatever it is. That doesn't necessarily mean that somebody went through a bunch of trauma and they was molested or they got abused or anything like. I'm not saying anything like that. What I'm saying is there is something inside of you that makes you feel less than. But if you are serving God, you should always feel more than.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a hole that you're trying to fill with that masculinity, with that void, with that. But what if you took, and it's hard, trust me, in the middle of a bar, anywhere, you're
That's
not.
just the best example that I have that happened the most recent, but even on a daily basis, like I told you at Sheets, it's, I don't know. It's I don't know if that's more of a personality thing, but I see a lot more people getting to that
It's
stage,
not a personality thing.
you know.
If anything else, when I text you, we have to know our enemy, and our enemy is the devil.
Yeah.
But the art of war says that we must know him so we can recognize him. How many of us as men or believers in Christ have read the art of war, and not only did read the art of war, actually apply that to fighting the war against the devil? If the devil's so cunning, he comes here to kill, steal, and destroy. Right? I'm not giving all the credit to the devil, but he come here to kill, steal, and destroy. If in a moment of weakness, do you not think he's going to take that opportunity to destroy your complete life?
Oh yeah.
So in a moment of weakness, y'all could have been at a bar, y'all could have beat somebody down, you could have caught some felonies, lost your job, lost your car, lost your trucks. You could be sitting behind bars, all because there's something inside of you that you need to feel. There's something inside of you that you need to let go and give it to God. I can't tell you what that is.
I don't even know what that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't tell you what that would be. I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, in this instance, that I know that moment was probably wrong. Like, there was no need for that. Other than in that possibility of just leave me alone, but still that wouldn't have resulted in that type of reaction when you could have just turned around and been like, hey, step back for a minute, what's your question? And been a little bit more kinder. Because I know that just adds to the snowballing effect of all the problems that are going on out there, that people are becoming isolated because the reaction I gave. They're becoming isolated because of the reaction I gave. Because somebody flips out. I mean, you see this with even the dating scene where people walk up and then they lose their absolute shit because this person walked up to them just to say hi, right? So even in my instance, reacting that way just out there was uncalled for because it wasn't like a threatening moment. It was just more of a leave me the hell alone moment. So that's why I started to break it down to maybe it was more of something I noticed immediately when I came in. I noticed the same exact person the whole time. Like when I first walked in, I made eye contact with him. And then the whole night, Drew was telling me that the guy was looking over at him, looking over at him, looking over at me. And so just watching us the whole time until he walked over. And that's where we were both like mentally, we were on the same page. We never said a word about this while it was going down. Me and Drew were both connected in knowing what was going on. And then he come over, and then after that I left. But then when I got out there, I'm like, wait a minute. I think I do actually know this guy. And so then I looked up the dude's Facebook on who I thought it was. I was like, does that look like him, Drew? And he goes, yeah, that's him. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, so then I realized, I'm like, okay, well, this was somebody that I did go to high school with. That at that point, back then, I didn't really have any issues with the guy. I might now, but
I
might now. So that's the reason. So that's where I was breaking it down to. Maybe it's the psychology behind body language, and if I just stare at somebody immensely, like it's a sign of, you got to take it to the animal kingdom world type stuff. So I don't know.
2018. How many times you run across that?
What do you mean?
Just in 2018, how many times you run across that?
You mean that experience?
Yeah.
Not that I can think of. Why was there?
There's a significance that I'm trying to give. 2018.
That you know of me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just period. 2018. I can't tell you of one experience that was completely negative. I could tell you many times in 2018, I'd open the doors for women and they would be appreciative of it. In 2018, I could pull over to the side of the road and help somebody and they would be appreciative of it. In 2018, I could help somebody down the steps and they wouldn't look at me crazy. In 2018, we could figure out our differences and talk about them. In 2018, you see where I'm going with this?
You know what's crazy about that too? I was talking with Colby and I said the golden era of which me growing up and everyone else that I know of was 2016, 17, and 18.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was talking with Colby and he was agreeing. I said that was the golden age. It's like now I don't have that real positive, or like, I don't know. It's like you don't get hyped up about stuff
because
it
goes back to there's no reconciliation. We knew back then. We knew what we knew, and what we knew is what we knew. Period.
Yeah.
What we know now may be a lie tomorrow. Or what may be a lie today may be the truth tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That puts us all in a state of confusion. Phil Collins made a song about that, the state of confusion. And so when we don't have nobody giving us the answers of what's going on, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, these few years that we've seen people go get locked in their apartments, lose their jobs because they didn't get a vaccine, and a vaccine that doesn't work, a vaccine that doesn't prove to help anybody. So do you not think that there's going to be something wrong with that? Yeah. If I took a vaccine and now you're telling me that it didn't work, I'm going to be pissed. Yeah. I'm going to be pissed at everybody.
Yeah. Well, I think people should also know
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
so what that means is that it's going to rub off on you.
Yeah.
That emotion and that vibe is going to rub off on you. You may be the happiest person in the world, but get around a bunch of negative people, what happens?
Goes down.
You're going to be negative. So if everybody in this country is negative because of what's been going on, because we have no answers, what's going to happen eventually? It's going to be in the America. A big ball of negativity.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I don't know if you're going to hurt me. What have we been told this whole time? Vaccinated. They're the extremists. Damn them to hell. If you see them, punch them in the face. We're telling people to be violent. Not me. Not Tommy. Not the Watchmen. Yeah. But our government and our kids. If you don't wear a mask, you're going to kill grandma. If you don't take the vaccine, you're going to kill your kids. If you don't get your kids vaccinated, they can. What? Why am I doing all this? You're just sending me into a state of confusion, which does what? Flight or fight.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. It's just, it's. I've even run into that with,
think about it. See what I'm saying? Makes you think.
It's
not just about making you think. It's about making you understand and open up your eyes. The art of war. Our enemy is here to kill, steal, and destroy us. So do you not think he's going to use something to kill, steal, and destroy us? Mm-hmm. What is he doing now? He's winning by all means. He's winning right now. Mm-hmm. He's destroying this by any means necessary. But as believers, I did this on Friday. As believers, as men, as the Watchmen, we need, excuse me, we need to start standing up and start combating this with the positivity of Christ. Start bringing the truth and not be scared to bring the truth.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We have gotten to a point to where Christians are not even legitimately looked at for anything. Oh, we are a joke.
Absolutely. Like they joke. Yeah.
We talk about drag queens, and that's wrong, or homos, or whatever else in the world. We are so wrong, and we're have hate crimes and all this other stuff. But an Islamic or a Muslim says that gay people are wrong and they throw them off buildings, you won't hear nobody talk to them about that, will you?
No.
That's because, as I've said over and over, that's because over and over the years, I keep saying, we don't live to the word of God. We only live what somebody tells us that we should live, and that's all that we do. We do not read it. We do not study it. If we would be, and let me
radical as they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody
Then it would
would
be
mess
taken-
with us. Nobody would mess. We would not be questioned.
Yeah.
They wouldn't question us.
Well, the problem is you've gotten so far into this moment that if me and you decided, hey, there's somebody that's a non-believer down there, then okay, let's go string them up and you know, I don't know, drag them through the streets,
Just whatever. Yeah.
Then there'd be way too many people. Oh my God, that's horrible. That's and yeah. So,
But that's where that comes from. That's where all that comes from. When we come back to, like I said, our
then
Muslim
it's
brothers.
almost as if like the founding fathers with freedom in mind is almost a detriment, because then you're giving and allowing people to not actually live by a certain moral code.
The Constitution. That was what James Madison said, that there was no that the Constitution was wrote for a man of moral and religious standard.
Not just anyone.
Not just that. Moral and religious
So
standard.
then it's the whole idea of how we came to be in this country that also hurts it at the same time, at least on the Christian basis or the godly basis. Wow. Interesting.
So everything that we stand for, they want to stand against. If you notice, for the past 3 years, they have done nothing but divide. Guns are bad. Saying you don't like cake is bad. Saying Joe Biden's crazy dementia, whatever. All of it's bad. You get canceled on Twitter. You get canceled on social media. You can't say this. You can't say that. So what happens? You're shutting people up. No reconciliation to why. Why did you make me do this? Let me ask you a question. If your parents come to you, and I know this for myself, not you, but out there, you. If your parents come to you and said, look, you are grounded, go to your room and give me all your toys and sit there until I tell you to come out.
You'd ask why. That's like any police officer. Do you know why I pulled you over?
But what if they didn't tell you why and they said to go do it anyway? You just sat there for hours and hours and hours. Would you not get mad? Would you not get frustrated? Would you not start getting an attitude like...
Not at first.
Not at first.
Not at first, but over
Remember,
the
I
course
said
of
3
time.
years.
Yep.
3 years.
Course of time.
Course of time, I'm
Yep.
going to get bitter. I'm going to get angry. I'm going to get mad. I'm going to start, in my mind, start thinking about how I'm going to hit you in your face because you put me... Not that you really would to your parents, but you see where I'm going with that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see what I'm showing you and showing you out there. It's not about what you lack. It's about what the influence of the world is giving us that we're too scared to fight back against. So we've been putting in a situation where we're told just to go do and not give no answers. And so we walk around. What's going to end? When is this going to end? What are we doing? Are we grounded anymore? What's going on? There is no answers. So just that same dude sitting in his room, we may be free and walking around outside, but it's still the same feelings and emotions that you go through.
Wow. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is definitely something that makes me think, and yeah. So I think there was something else that I was. Oh wait, there was something you had mentioned too.
So I told you that we're gonna make a new tuxedo, right? When we're gonna lead into
Yeah, I
this.
had no idea what you were talking
Okay.
about.
So, and this goes back, and I am busting your head, men. I'm busting you straight in the head because I am so sick and tired of seeing us as men become so weak. We are weak. Period. This is gonna blow your mind. I don't want one single man to join the movement ministries. Let me have a bunch of women. I guarantee you, I change the world with them. Because women right now have a Deborah mindset. They have a hunger to do something. They have a hunger and a drive. My wife has it. I've seen many women around me. They have it. Listen to this. The Hope Center, right?
Yeah.
That the movement's kind of part of, right?
Yep.
I sit on the board. Okay. I don't really do nothing. I just sit on the board. Okay. The Hope Center was literally nothing just a few months ago. I seen a group of women. I'm the only man. Well, there's another man that he shows up every once in a while, but there's a group of women that came up and it's starting to become successful. Give me a group of women because our men are punks. Give me some women. I want some women. Come on, we gonna change the world because our men ain't stepping up. Because we only care about ourselves. Mm-hmm. We only care about the money that we can make. We only care about what we can have. We're not trying to change the world. Give me a bunch of Deborahs. Give them to me. We will change the whole daggone world. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Give them to me. Men, y'all want to sit around and be a punks? That's fine. Y'all get punked out. That's fine. That's on you. That's because you a punk and you won't step up and do what's right. It's not my fault. And most men are going to say, well, that's not right. You're supposed to be masculine. You're supposed to do. I am. I'm a very masculine man. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a pretty masculine man. But I'm also a man who wants to project the gospel around the world. And so I want to do it by any means necessary. The devil does it the same way, by any means necessary. So I want to do it by any means necessary. So give me a group of Deborahs. Give them to me. We'll change the world. Because there ain't no single man, I'm not talking about you, but there ain't a single man out there that has ever lived up to their word here at this Movement Ministries, except for a few of us. Mm-hmm. Every man out here that's walked through this place.
You're 100%.
Every man that's walked through these doors is a freaking punk because they never lived into the world. They never reconciled the relationship. They never said anything. So when you run like a coward, you are a punk to me, period.
Absolutely.
Woo! That's called being a coward. If you cannot reconcile a relationship, you are a coward. And give me some Deborahs, because with Deborahs, I'll change the daggone world. We'll change the daggone world, Tommy. Mm-hmm. Because they have a drive and a fire that our men has let it dwindle and fizz out. Because why? Because we're afraid to be canceled. We're afraid to do something because we're told we're white men, so we are the bad leaving demons, all of these other things. But that's the devil getting inside your head, telling you that you're not good enough. And so many times as men, we portray our life around a woman, and then it gets hurt. And so what happens? We then get hurt and internalize, and we don't want to mess with nobody. It's true. We get hurt by a woman so that everybody pays for that. Instead of being a man and saying, you know what? Yeah, that hurt. But yeah, we need to keep moving forward. Instead of being a man. Did you ever think in a million years you'd be hearing me say, give me a group of women?
Years ago, probably no. I was going to say years ago, probably no. Now, yeah, it doesn't surprise me now. It makes more sense, honestly. I mean, at this point.
I mean, where do we see any men?
I mean, we've had dozens of them come in and out, and none of them stayed. There were people that it was almost like it.
And here's the thing. It's because I bring truth. It's because you bring truth. It's because I'm not afraid to tell you about you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not afraid to do that. We have to grow some freaking balls and be like Sparta of 300. Yes, we can have problems. And yes, I can disagree with you. But at the end of the day, when we walk on the battlefield together, we walk arm in arm and we look at the bigger picture. Yep. We don't have to suppress our feelings. We can talk about them. It's fine. It's whatever. Let's do that. I'm okay with that. I think that's healthy.
I mean, that's exactly what I did or showed earlier.
Just now.
Was a situation that happened and something that I've noticed and knew that it wasn't correct, that it was a problem and it contributes to the bigger picture of the bigger problem. So that's the reason why I brought it here, and I figured everyone else may feel the same way. Because there's been a lot of times I've called you and asked you certain questions on random stuff, and you're like, 10 people have come to me and asked me the same freaking thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I see in the mall where we have Dr. Moms or Mr. Moms or whatever. They're carrying the babies on their things, and they're listening to their women as they point and direct them. I see it all the time.
What is it? Wait, sorry. What? Hey, you go into the mall.
I work at the mall.
Yeah. The doctor. What'd you say, Dr. Mom?
Dr. Mom. I'm sorry, Mr. Mom. I should say.
Oh, Mr. Mom.
Mr.
Okay.
Mom. Mr. Moms. They're all Mr. Moms out there.
Oh, yeah. That are carrying the baby.
They're carrying the babies. They're pushing the strollers. They're listening to the woman. They're following along, whatever the woman says. They lost the value of Christ in their life, so now they got to find their value in their wife.
Wow. DJ be walking up, you look like a bitch.
I mean,
Like,
may not say that, but I do be saying some stuff.
that's something I might say. I don't know. I know the viewers out there probably don't agree with me, but I'm a little.
It's okay. They
I'm
can get over
sporadic.
it.
I'm just out there.
Yeah, they can get over it. Yeah.
Y'all should know me by now. I've been
Right?
around. You know. I ain't as clean cut as far and filtered.
So this is
you
the
are.
plan.
Okay.
This is the plan.
Go ahead.
So let's let the women lead.
Okay.
Let's let them lead. Let's get them all the best jobs. Let's let them work themselves into the graves that they want to work them. And then let's men, why don't we start our own little secret societies for Christ? Let them do all the heavy lifting. If they want to do all the heavy lifting, let them do it.
Yeah.
Let them do it. Why not? Know your enemy. Know how we can fight. My wife, the women are not my enemy, but I'll use my enemy to battle my enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is that I'll use something to battle something for the good.
Yeah.
So let's let all the women have all the greatest jobs and let them be the CEOs, and let me stay at home and be a husband. And I'm going to call you, and I'm going to call all my friends, and we're going to start coming together as these little circles. Because then we don't have no responsibilities. We let the women do it. Then we're free to do what we want to, right?
Yeah.
No, don't do that. I'm just saying
Well, that's what they want.
that's what they want.
That's what
So
they
give
want.
it to them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. But you're right. Not all of them.
Not all of them.
But God said
There
want.
are some that are on our same wavelength here.
Right.
Like, when we talk about it, they're like, that's what the hell I'm talking about.
Yes, there is.
But then some of them, maybe the majority of them, bigger cities especially, they're they're against the grain. Okay, fine, go ahead. Do your thing.
The Jews kept screaming for a king. So what did God say? Here's you a king. I'll let you at your own demise.
Mm-hmm.
They keep screaming they want to be number one. Guess what? Let them be to the fall of their own demise. Because when it gets hard, who are they going to call? The strong men. When they need cities built, who are they going to call? The strong men. That's when we post up ourselves and say, you want our help? These are our demands. And this is what it's going to take to get us to move.
Mm-hmm.
You see? Smarter than what most people think. You staying right there.
I think most people go into they don't think, they just go into the attack phase or the, battle fighting phase, No,
So-
this is the way. No, this is the way. No, this is the way. And they don't take you just got to let them run with it. It's wisdom. You just got to.
That's why I say, let them
It's not a
have it.
secret. It's just wisdom.
Let them have it. Let them have every single bit of them. Let them own the biggest businesses, the biggest corporations. Let them have every single bit of it. And then let us as men, we'll be free to do what we want to do. And so then what we will do is we come together and we meet.
Yeah.
And then when it's time for them to call and say, we need some cities built, guess what? We need the Constitution to go back into to permanent effect. We need all you presidents and leaders, we all having term limits. Do you see what can change? Mm-hmm. Let them have it at their own demise. But we don't have the strength as men to say, okay, we don't have that. But we will once we have to go through some hard times. Once we have to go through some hard times here in this nation, you'll see a lot of stuff start changing. You'll see women going back to being women instead of trying to be masculine all the time.
Yeah.
You'll see men start rising up to be men because that's what will be necessary. Period. Why are we in the position that we're in? Because our men suck all across the world. I see on TikToks, and there ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying it's bad or it's good, but I see on TikToks, I see around the world, I see all these things in the mall, and I see men just complaining about how nobody listens. Nobody listens to me. Dude, call somebody. Call somebody. And if you don't have somebody, I do know somebody that you can call. His name is Jesus. And he'll be right there for you. Okay. He'll be right there for you. I lost it. Anyways, so I heard this beat. This is a killer beat. So as men, we've lost our will to survive, our will to drive, our will to succeed. We want to push everybody away and live in these little bubbles by ourselves. It's just what we want to do. Because we feel like nobody is there to support us.
I don't understand that either. Because like yesterday, many of the people will probably, or anybody that's closely associated with me will tell you that yesterday I was complaining a little bit. Really pissed me off. Was because I went, it was a good day. It just, there was nothing to do.
No.
There was nothing. So essentially I went to Pick and Save and just to see if they had any trucks in my year to pick parts from. They didn't. Went home, and I think I go directly home. No, I didn't go directly home. Got food, went over to the sports complex and just walked around. Had my earbuds. I already planned for it. Got my earbuds in and walked around. And I was just, seeing who was around. There was nothing to do. Didn't have any car parts to put on or fix anything. I'm just like, I'm freaking bored, man. So I made do with what time I had, but it was pissing me off. And so I can't imagine in certain people, and even people that we know close to us, that they don't have a large friend group or many friends at all, and they are an island, and they don't do much. I would, that's grounds for me to just want to go jump. Like, I couldn't stand, because it was the most annoyingly boring Saturday I've had in a very long time. It's very rare for me to have moments like that, but if everyone else is busy, it's around the holidays, I get it. I'll just see what you're up to. Oh, you're busy? Cool, roger that. I'm not going to annoy you and be like, hey, do this or whatever. I'll just reach out and see what you're doing. But yeah, man, it was just annoyingly boring. So it's just and moments like that is if they're people. That's an everyday thing for some people. Is what I'm getting at.
That's why you men, y'all need to go get the app. You women, go get the app. And on there, it's called the Wild at Heart Experience. There's a section for women and there's a section for men. Men, I'm telling you, it is one of the best tools that I continue to use to this day. I start getting lonely, I start getting depressed, or I start feeling a certain way, I turn that on. Because I can start hearing some good positivity about why it's good to be a man, why it's good that I'm here, why it's good that I have the feelings that I have, that I'm not alone, that, here's some answers that I have to questions. Why am I the way that I am? There's a part on there, most men are posers. Most men are posers. That's just what we are. Most men, there's a good, wholesome thing that you can listen to on a regular basis when you feel down, when you feel out as far as a man, to go get it and listen to it. I do. It takes there's six lessons and each one of them is like 30 minutes, 25 minutes maybe.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 8. Maybe there's 8. But each one of them is 25 minutes. Well, what is that? You can do that, a couple days? Just listening to it?
Especially if you do a little bit more active stuff, like myself. If there's a day that it's not necessarily a gym day, but I do go walk if it's nice outside like I did yesterday because there's nothing to do. That's a time that you could really throw in those earbuds and
listen to
that.
it.
Yeah.
Listen to it.
And it wasn't that I was having a moment like that, like you're talking.
Yeah.
And I know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if I have that every single day of my life, because I know some people are, that's going to lead to me wanting, and there's nothing to do. One, I'm either going to end up buying a bunch of parts and be out of money, or two, I'm just going to go jump, like if it was like that. Not saying...
You answered the question yourself that you started. Why am I the way that I am?
What?
Repeat to me what you just said. That if you had every day like you did on a Saturday.
Like this past Saturday. Yeah.
So there are people for the past 3 years that had your Saturday every day for the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't do nothing. Boring. Sit at home. Play the same video games over and over again.
Yep.
No money. Barely eating.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you think there's tensions in this world?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Recession. coming up. I mean, we're already in a recession. Inflation, gas prices are high, food is high. We're probably going to experience more food shortage next year. Why? Why people ask me, why are you so calm? Because I looked and I read and I got my own research to find out what's going on so I can have my own reconciliation, so I can make my own conclusions. Dude, I am 44 years old, and in the past 3 years, 150 food plants have been burnt down to the ground. 150. That should open up the eyes to everybody around us. Our leadership here in this place. Gotta be careful. Our leadership here in this place does not care about you. They only care about themselves.
Oh yeah, that should be pretty evident to everyone.
I saw on many people, witnessed it in some cases myself, where the government was paying people to just burn their crops. Paid them the money for their complete crop. So if you had a 100-acre farm of corn, they wrote you a check for 100 acres, but you had to do with whatever they said for you to do with it. So they cut it down, burned them up.
Do they even have legal jurisdiction for farmers to do that?
Oh yeah, sure do.
That's just a bastard. Wow.
That's a whole nother thing. I can talk to you about farming, but
yeah, that's next week's episode.
So you tell me that I can tell you that we're coming to a world of hurt.
Oh yeah.
But I've reconciled all that, and I've done my research because I want to know who my enemy is. So I don't go out here misjudging people and punching people in the face for no reason whatsoever.
I see you throwing some shade.
I want to be that person that can help them through that little bit of situation.
Yeah.
Or I want to be the person that can walk away immediately. Does not always happen because I still have a mouth and I still have a filter that I got to work on, because there are some things I just get under my skin. Drag queens being allowed to preach in a freaking church. I want to punch every pastor that is out there letting this happen. Tommy, I really do. I want to punch them dead in the face. And I want to keep punching them until they start repenting of their sin. Will that happen? No. Would I really do that in the situation? I don't, probably. Just saying. I mean, that's my God. That's my God you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to fight you for my God. There ain't no doubt in my mind I'm going to fight you for my God. But guess what? We don't have enough men that's ready to fight you for my God. They ain't ready to fight you. But I guarantee you go to a Muslim, they'll kill you for Allah.
Oh, yeah.
And not blink twice. They will literally strap on a bomb in the name of Allah to kill you. But yeah, we have a bunch of punks and pansies and cowards that live here and get their feelings hurt and run away scared because somebody spit some truth to you. You tell me which one sounds better. Don't go converting to Muslims. I ain't saying that.
No. Yeah.
They still lack a big piece, and that's called Jesus. They believe in Jesus, but they don't believe that he was his divine person that came and did miracles and raised from the dead. They don't believe in that. But, there's that big key piece that's missing. So my big aha moment was, Tommy, let's let all the women run the world. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes crawling, crashing down, when they need those big, strong men coming back, we then can set our demands. Why do we have so much craziness? We have let our government, and I'm saying that right now, we've let our government put us in a perpetual state of confusion. We have people out here talking about racism. Dude, what the flip, man? I was 19, 20 years old, and I didn't even know what the heck racism was. I mean, I knew what it was by the contextual of a dictionary, but I had no idea what it was personally. They've been given rights. LGBTQ people, shut up. Go sit down. You've had the exact same rights. There is nobody hurting you. But yet we have people in their ears going, oh, well, if you don't vote a certain way, they're going to take gay marriage away, or they're going to do this, and they're going to do that. And because you're a Christian, you'll oppress me. What? No. Go lay with whoever you want to. Just don't tell me I've got to accept it. Because I don't push Jesus on nobody. I don't push him on nobody. I may pray for you. I may tell you about a conversation or two, but I'm not one, because Jesus never pushed himself on anybody. He was out there preaching the gospel. He was out there preaching the truth, just like we do. We preach the truth. And that's what we will continue to do, because I'm not scared. I am not scared. Put me in jail. I already been there. I'll have a great ministry. I've said this before. I ain't going to say it again. I've said it before. At the end of the day, we as men have got to disconnect solution. We have got to first disconnect from all the nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
And get back to ground zero. And building an army with one another at all costs,